My name is Daniel Mercer, and I'm 24. I grew up in a small coastal town in Maine, but these days I live in a cramped walk-up in Boston and work as a junior copywriter for a mid-sized marketing agency. I've spent the last 2 years trying to be the responsible one, the guy who keeps his head down and does everything right. But there's a message on my phone right now that makes my heart pound like I'm 15 again. This is the story I've never told anyone. I call it My Sister's Best Friend Texted. Meet me outside now. It's almost midnight when the text arrives. I'm at my kitchen table surrounded by half-finished taglines and cold pizza. The city outside my window hums with neon and sirens. The sender is listed as Ava Morgan. She's been my sister's best friend since high school, the girl who used to crash on our couch after cheer practice, the one I secretly crushed on when I was 17. Now she's 25, working as an events coordinator for a big hotel chain. We've been polite strangers for years. My thumb hovers over the screen. Meet me outside now. No context. No emojis. Just command. I grab my coat. Outside, the street is slick from an earlier rain. A silver sedan idles at the curb. Ava's in the driver's seat, engine running, hair damp and pulled into a messy knot. She looks like she hasn't slept in days. When she sees me, she leans across to unlock the passenger door. Get in, she says. I do. The car smells faintly of coffee and hotel shampoo. What's going on? Ask. She pulls away from the curb before answering. I couldn't call from my apartment. Too risky. Risky. I try to laugh, but it comes out thin. Ava, what? I need your help, she interrupts. And you can't tell your sister. Something in her voice, a low tremor, silences me. I study her profile as she drives. She's lost weight. There's a bruise at the edge of her sleeve she keeps tugging down. We end up at a deserted waterfront parking lot. She kills the engine and stares at the dark water. I'm in trouble, she says finally. Serious trouble. She tells me in fragments. About the hotel's senior manager, Richard Hale, charming on the outside, predatory underneath. About the late-night texts, the mentorship dinners, the unwanted hand on her back. About how she went to HR and then mysteriously got reassigned to less visible events. I thought if I kept my head down it would go away, she says. Then last week a client's ring disappeared from a function I was coordinating. They're blaming me. He's blaming me. And now I'm supposed to sign some statement admitting negligence or lose my job. Did you take it? I ask gently. She turns on me, eyes blazing. Of course not. He planted it, Daniel. He's setting me up. I believe her. It's the way her fingers tremble, the way her voice drops when she says his name. Why me? Ask. You're in marketing, she says. You know how they spin stories. I thought maybe you could help me figure out what to do. And her voice cracks. You're the only one I trust who won't run to your sister. I swallow hard. Ava and my sister, Rachel, are inseparable. But Rachel has always been the golden child. The one Dad calls our future senator. She'd probably advise Ava to get a lawyer and go public. Or maybe she'd tell Mom, who would tell Dad, who sits on the board of the same hotel chain. Family conflict, corporate scandal. My head spins. We sit in silence watching the water lap against the pilings. The smell of diesel and salt hangs in the air. I don't even know why I texted you, Ava mutters. I just needed someone who wouldn't judge. I'm not judging, I say. I'm trying to think. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. She reaches for the ignition. Ava, wait. I touch her arm. She flinches, then exhales slowly. I can't go to the police, she says. Not yet. Hale has connections. He'll twist it. He'll make me look like a thief or a bitter ex. I need proof before I do anything. Proof. That's something I can wrap my head around. What kind of proof? Ask. She hesitates. Emails. Access logs. Security footage. He's careful, but not perfect. You're saying you want me to help you break into his office? She half laughs, half sobs. I just need to copy some files. His assistant leaves at 6. He stays late drinking. If I can get his laptop for 10 minutes. Ava, please. she whispers. I don't have anyone else. I look at her hands gripping the steering wheel. I remember being 17, watching her and Rachel study at our kitchen table. Ava absent-mindedly twirling a pen and biting her lip. Back then I thought she was untouchable, some bright, impossible thing. Now she's sitting next to me shaking, and she's real. Okay, I hear myself say, tell me what you need. She exhales like she's been holding her breath for days. Thank you. But as she starts the car, a thought needles me. If Dad really is on the board, helping her could blow back on my family. On me. On Rachel. And yet, when Ava looks at me, eyes glossy but determined, I know I'm going to help her anyway. We plan in whispers at an all-night diner. She draws a quick map of Hale's office suite on a napkin. I sketch out a distraction plan, marketing buzzwords spilling into espionage tactics. We must look like conspirators in a noir film, heads bent over coffee, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. At one point, she reaches across the table and touches my hand. You don't have to do this, she says. I know, I say, but I want to. She studies me. You were always different, she says softly. Kinder than your sister, quieter, but not weak. Her words land somewhere deep. For years, I've felt like a background character in my own family, the spare Mercer kid who never made trouble. Now I'm the one Ava called. When we leave the diner, the sky over the city is paling to gray. She drives me home. Before I get out, she presses her phone into my hand. Tomorrow at 7, she says. You'll text me when you're in position. I nod. She looks at me a beat too long, like she wants to say something else. Then she drives off. I stand on the curb watching her taillights disappear, heart hammering. For the first time in years, I feel awake. Upstairs in my apartment, I drop onto the couch. My phone buzzes. Another message from Rachel this time. Are you up? She wants to talk about Dad's upcoming board vote, something about a new investment. I stare at it, torn between replying and throwing the phone across the room. On the coffee table, Ava's napkin map flutters in the draft from the window. My name in her handwriting. A plan that could ruin my career, maybe my family. I pick up the napkin and fold it carefully, sliding it into my wallet. Then I turn off my phone and sit in the dark. Her text still glowed on my phone. Meet me outside now. I slipped my jacket on, the chill of the night already sneaking under the door. My heart hammered as if I were about to commit a crime. Outside, the driveway was drenched in silver moonlight. A single car idled at the curb, an old silver hatchback I recognized instantly. Inside, Leah sat with her hair tied back, hands gripping the steering wheel as if it were the only thing keeping her from flying apart. I opened the door and slid in. The smell of her perfume, vanilla and something darker, like cedar, filled the car. Drive, she whispered. Please. Leah, what's going on? My sister's inside. She's... Drive. Her voice cracked. Before she sees. I drove. Out of our quiet neighborhood, through streets that looked emptier than usual. My knuckles whitened on the wheel. Finally, at a deserted park lot near the river, she told me to stop. The only sounds were the river and the faint hum of traffic far away. Leah stared straight ahead. I shouldn't have texted you, she said. But I couldn't. I can't be in that house tonight. Leah, you're scaring me. What's wrong? She turned to me then, eyes glistening. You know how your sister's been talking about moving out? About starting over? Yeah. She's been saying the same things to me, about running away from something. I thought it was just drama, but it's not. There's something going on at her job. Something bad. And now it's following her here. I blinked. You're telling me my sister's in danger? Leah nodded, clutching her bag to her chest. And so am I, because I know about it. For a long moment I couldn't speak. I thought back to the nights when my sister came home late, her hands trembling. I chalked it up to stress. But now the puzzle pieces rearranged themselves into something darker. What does this have to do with you? I asked finally. Leah's lips trembled. I work there too. Same company, different department. I found some things, emails, numbers that don't add up. Your sister begged me not to say anything. But now they're watching me too. Her words landed heavy in the car. My pulse roared in my ears. Why text me? Why not call the police? Because the police won't help. Not yet. Not until we have proof. And because I trust you. Her voice softened. I've always trusted you. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The girl who used to come over and steal our cereal, who sat on our porch steps telling me about her crushes. Now, she was shaking, fighting tears, and somehow still trying to protect my sister. I'm not letting you handle this alone, I said. Her eyes searched mine. I didn't want to drag you into it. It's too late for that. We sat in silence for a moment, the air thick with things unspoken. Then she whispered, Do you remember that night at the lake? Of course I do. You said if I ever needed you, you'd be there. This is me needing you. Her voice cracked. She didn't cry often, but now one tear slid down her cheek. Without thinking, I reached over and brushed it away. My fingers lingered on her skin. Then I'm here, I said. For the first time that night, she let out a shaky breath. Thank you. We stayed there until the dashboard clock glowed past midnight, plotting, whispering. Leah pulled out a flash drive from her bag. Everything I found, she said. If anything happens, I swallowed hard. Nothing's going to happen. When I dropped her off at her apartment, she hesitated before getting out. You're risking everything, you know? I know. Then she leaned in, her lips brushing my cheek. It wasn't romantic, not yet. It was more like a promise sealed in fear and trust. Be careful, she whispered. As she disappeared up the stairs, I sat there gripping the steering wheel, staring at the glow of her window. Everything had changed in a single night, and I had no idea just how deep the darkness went. The next few days were a blur. I'd go to work, keep my head down, then spend nights on encrypted chats with Leah, piecing together the evidence. The company my sister worked for, and Leah still did, had been inflating invoices, funneling money through shell accounts. Leah's flash drive was a roadmap of the fraud. But it was more than financial crime. There were threats, gag orders, NDAs. People who spoke up lost their jobs. One had a break-in at their apartment. All the while, my sister was acting like nothing was wrong. She'd smile at dinner, text her friends, but her eyes were somewhere else. I saw it now, the mask. On the fourth night, Leah called me. Not text, called. Her voice was shaking. They know, she whispered. Somebody followed me from work. Black SUV. I don't think they're bluffing anymore. My stomach nodded. Where are you? At the old river park. Same spot. I was already grabbing my jacket. When I got there, she was sitting on the hood of her car, arms wrapped around herself. The air smelled like rain, heavy and electric. They called me, she said as soon as I reached her. Blocked number. They said if I don't hand over the drive by tomorrow, my life is going to get very inconvenient. I clenched my fists. Then we go to the police tonight. Not tomorrow. Tonight. They'll bury it before it even makes it upstairs, she said. But there's a reporter. Independent. Your sister gave me his contact before she stopped. Before she what? Leah's eyes flicked to mine. Before she left town. It hit me like a punch. Left town. She's gone. Packed up and left. She didn't tell you because she wanted you safe. But she made me promise I'd finish what she started. I stared at her, everything inside me cracking open. My sister had vanished, left me in the dark. But she'd left Leah as her only link. Leah stepped closer. I'm sorry, James. For a moment, we just stood there, two people under the weight of a secret too heavy to carry. Then I took her hand. We're not doing this alone. Not anymore. We met the reporter in a diner off the highway, a thin man with ink-stained fingers. We gave him everything. Names, numbers, the flash drive. Leah's hands trembled as she slid it across the table. It's enough, he said quietly. This will bring them down. When we left the diner, it was raining. Leah tilted her face up to it, eyes closed, like she could finally breathe. What now? I asked. "We wait," she said, "and pray." The weeks that followed were tense but quieter. Articles started appearing online. Indictments followed. The company's top brass resigned. My sister called me from a safe number 2 months later. She was okay. She couldn't say where she was, but she was safe. And Leah, she stayed. She found another job at a nonprofit, far from corporate games. One evening, months after the storm had passed, we sat on the same riverbank where it had begun. The sun was sinking, painting the water orange. "Do you ever think about that night?" I asked. "Every day," she said. "It changed everything." It did. She looked at me, a faint smile on her lips. I never asked, "Why did you come that night? You could have ignored me." I laughed softly. "Because it was you." Her smile faded into something softer. She reached out, her fingers brushing mine. "We went through hell together, didn't we?" We did. We sat in silence, our hands slowly intertwining. It wasn't some movie-perfect kiss. It was quieter, deeper, the kind of connection forged not in candlelight but in fire. I turned to her. "This is the story I've never told anyone," I said. "I call it my sister's best friend texted. Meet me outside now." But really, it's the story of how I learned what loyalty looks like. How I learned that love isn't just about showing up when it's easy. It's about standing in the dark with someone when they're afraid. Leah squeezed my hand. "And you did." I looked at the river, the last light slipping behind the horizon. "And so did you." In that moment, I realized something that would stay with me forever. Sometimes the people we're meant to find don't arrive wrapped in romance. They arrive in the middle of chaos, carrying secrets and fears. But if you're brave enough to stand beside them, something beautiful can grow from the wreckage. And that, more than anything, is what saved us.